Hello, hi, and welcome to EmpathicFire. I am your reader, Jay. This is going to be general messages for the month of August for the sign of Capricorn. Hello, Capricorn. How are you doing? Hope you guys are doing well. Long time no see. Long time no see. I decided to start my readings for August with the signs that I've neglected the most. For those who don't know, things got kind of crazy for me back in May and June. Sicknesses, family stuff, and, you know, having to still do some kind of private sessions with people. So anyway, gone ahead and shuffled off camera to kind of save time. What I'm going to do now is shuffle to get your outcome. Bottom of the deck will be your overall energy, and once all cards are out, I'll begin the reading then. Go ahead and check the description box below for the timestamp when the reading actually begins if you don't want to sit through me shuffling. It's a free world. You can always skip ahead. Okay, there we go. Bottom of the deck is the overall energy. And came out sideways. Excuse me. Which way, please, for Capricorn? Okay, thank you. And like I said, I flipped the remaining cards to see what's going on for you, Capricorn. Straighten these guys out. And let's see what's going on. Where is Capricorn, please, in August? Where's Capricorn? Here? Okay, thank you. All right, Capricorn, you start off the month of August coming in as the Hermit reverse. Show you upright, although I'm sure you're familiar with it. Hermit card upright. Or excuse me, Hermit card reverse, excuse me. Card of Virgo, so some of you might have a Virgo who's significant in your life. But regardless of that, Hermit card in reverse, oof, things are not... There's a roadblock up with you, Capricorn. There's some kind of blockage happening. Something that needs exploration, needs explanation, needs your focus, needs your time, needs your undivided attention, is not getting it. You've put up a barrier between you and another person, you in a particular situation. You are just avoiding. You're avoidant right now, Capricorn. You don't want to get in the depths of anything. You don't want to get down to the nitty-gritty of something. You don't want to see someone. You don't want to speak with someone. You just, it's too painful for some of you. It's too painful. For others, it's just a matter of it would take too much time. It would take too much of your effort. It would distract you from other things that you feel deserve your attention and effort. And you are welcome, as we're all free will creatures, right? You're welcome to do whatever you want, Capricorn. But I feel if you block this person, block this situation, avoid this whole thing, I don't know that that's necessarily helping you in the long run. In the now, it's very helpful. You're less stressed. You feel freer. You feel happier for some of you. And like I said, it is very painful. The idea of addressing this person or addressing this situation is very painful for some of you. But if you let the block continue, if you stay avoidant forever or for the foreseeable, in the long run, the energy is like, don't do that. Eventually, you gotta get here. It's fine to be here now. You know, you don't have the time, you don't have the energy, you can't be bothered, or your happiness is at stake. You know, like I said, it's painful for some of you. It's very painful, whatever the situation is that needs addressing. But again, if you don't address it forever, if you never get here, it's not going to help you. So take that, you know, with a grain of salt, that it's okay for now to be like this. It's okay for now to be in this block, or to allow this block to occur, or to impose this block, to uphold the block, to add bricks to the block. That's fine for now. But eventually take it down. Eventually let it go and address the situation head on, is what I'm getting. And that's a very general blanket message. Like, I'm not even getting hits here. I'm not seeing any particular sector of your life. I'm not seeing a particular person, even though it very well can be a person. It's just like, whatever you, and if, what, we're like 5 minutes, not even, into this video. If that doesn't hit for you, not to say nothing else in the reading won't, but for those where that was like a little tinge of truth, a little bell of truth was ringing in your ears, Capricorn, you know what I'm talking about. And like I said, temporarily, cool. Long term, less cool, okay? And again, what you're avoiding is getting into the nitty-gritty, the nooks and the crannies of the situation, the detail of the situation, the detail of the relationship, the detail of the person, or an in-depth conversation with this person. And this is really aligning to the people where it's very painful. Those details, the ins and the outs, the in-depth conversation, okay, thank you. For some of you, frightens you. Absolutely frightens you, petrifies you, gives you anxiety, makes you feel so overwhelmed with emotion, anger, sadness, depression, tears, just everything, okay? And that is not at all easy. I don't recommend anyone getting into a discussion or facing a circumstance when they know, you know, that will be how you feel, you know that will be the result. I'm going to cry, I'm going to get angry, I'm going to get volatile, I'm just going to blow my top, whatever. If you know that's what's going to happen, yes, don't go into it. But don't ignore that eventually you'll have to, or eventually you should, I should say. Eventually you should, because what's missing is, for some of you, a negotiation is missing, or having a solution through a negotiation, I should say. For others of you, understanding is missing. Okay, so having an argument, let's say, squashed completely. You have your side, they have their side, and you guys are like, you know, there's like the Berlin Wall is up between you. Not saying that's exactly your situation, you know, East and West Germany, but it's like this wall of silence is between you, and you both have your points of view, and you haven't exchanged your points of view. You haven't talked to them, they don't talk to you, whatever. And it's just this impasse. And when there's this impasse and time progresses, you then start to make up stories or fill in the blanks of what you think the other side is doing. Oh, well, he's not talking to me, so he must be talking to so-and-so, and he must think this, and he must be doing that. It's like you're making assumptions. When there's no dialogue, when there's no communication, there's no contact, you make assumptions about what's going on the other side of that wall. That can be quite dangerous, right? That can be very detrimental when you really want to find a solution, to find a dialogue, to find a negotiating point, and share an understanding, okay? So now we're getting into more, not a relationship, like a dating relationship or anything, but relationships as in just talking with people and communicating with people and sharing an equal, like I said, an equal relationship with people. And that's what's going on when you allow this block to happen. It allows the energy to fester and ferment, and it creates something that's going to, over time, become a lot more detrimental. It's a really kind of, what I'm seeing is like you're going to have to shoot for a window of time, Capricorn, that is like sort of, it's here and then it's gone. In some cases, it's here and then it's gone. Like perfect timing is really at play here because, again, the block is up. The resistance and the avoidance is up because you know going into it, you just can't handle it based on the circumstance the way it is now. So maybe you recently had a fight with someone or falling out with someone a few weeks ago, a few months ago, and like you want a resolution or maybe they want a resolution, but the approach, the time to approach is not now. The time to approach, when it comes, the Hermit card in reverse is saying, when that time comes, take it. Don't let that time pass you by. The time when I picked up that card is not now. So if we're talking the month of August, is not the month of August, okay? But when it does come, take it. When it does come, act on it, okay? And what's going on is above your starting position of the Hermit in reverse, you've got the Six of Pentacles in reverse, Capricorn. So again, it might be a relationship, and for some of you, it's just a circumstance. And so it could be a family dynamic. It could be a situation going on at your workplace. It could be, something to do in your social circles, or something to do with a partnership in business for some of you. But regardless, there's just this imbalance. Six of Pentacles reversed. There's an incredible imbalance in the energy. Someone or some people or some group just is not getting their just dues, is how this is coming across. They're not getting the justice and the righteousness. I don't know if that's the right word, but they're just not getting the goods, okay? And the other person's not getting the goods either. Everybody is asked out on this, basically. Everybody is losing something in this situation. This is a lose-lose situation right now. And that hangs right above your starting position. Lose for everybody. Nobody's coming out on top in this. And I feel like that's sort of the way it's supposed to be. Like, not supposed to be. That's the only way it could have ended up. Based on what happened previous to August, right? So, an argument, a disagreement over business, a family dynamic gone awry. Whatever happened previously would have led to this, no matter how you cut it, no matter who was involved, no matter what, it ended up like this. So that's what I meant, it's supposed to be like that. That's the way it had to be, okay? And interesting that it's lose-lose over here, because over here we've got some interesting thing. Okay, oh, okay, yes, okay. So, right. Okay. What's here? What's this? Separate or no? Separate. Okay, thank you. All right, Sag, excuse me, I just did Sag. Capricorn. All right, Capricorn. So this is where you are in August. This is kind of where you are hanging out, right? This in the middle is separate. It might be what this is based off of, or is this? It might be specifically okay. And then this is the outcome, or this is. Tell me, please. This is the catalyst of this. Is that right? Okay, thank you. All right, finally we got there. All right, so the triplet in the middle, which I'm not sure if you've watched my previous videos in July, or if you have any reason to watch Sagittarius's reading for August, but the triplets have been coming up recently, and I'm wondering if my guides are like, start doing 7-card spreads instead of 6, and I'm like, okay, but I still like 6. But anyway, triplets have been happening, and triplets in these readings have been, most of them, if not all of them, have been sort of a separate storyline from the other 4 cards that come out in the spread, no matter where they lay, no matter where they come out in the spread. They've been consistently separate. And so what I'm getting for you, Capricorn, excuse me, is that this was like a foundation. This is sort of like the prologue to the story, and then the main story is in the 4 cards. So let's talk about, do you want to talk about the prologue? Where are we going now? Prologue? Yes, prologue. Okay. So the backstory, the origin story, Capricorn, of why you're here in August is in these 3 cards. Okay. So, what I think happened, or what I think this deals with for some of you, not all, but probably a good portion of you, there was something to do with great stability, like long-term stability, particularly in a family situation, Ten of Pentacles, right? So that's generations of stability. That's generations of people, legacy, extended family. So we're talking grandparents, as well as parents and kids, and maybe even aunts and uncles. And of course, you've got the dogs there in the card too. So you've got, animals as part of the family dynamic. And there's just a lot of structure around this energy. So for some of you, very specifically, it's talking about your family. For others of you, it could be like a business situation that feels like family, or you are in business with family members, right? But regardless, it's strong. It's like locked in, right? Very stable, very secure. Everybody is like all in on this one vision. Everybody put their portion up. They all anteed up, put into the pot. That is the Ten of Pentacles. So, like I said, some of you, this could be a business, could be a family business, like a little bakery or something like that, or a restaurant. And everybody has put in money to sustain that business. So let's say it's a restaurant. Excuse me. And it's been in your family for the past 2 or 3 generations. Like it's, going back to the early 20th century or something. And now you and your partner, or you and your spouse, are taking over to lead this business. Let's just say that's the scenario for an example. Part of you, or part of someone in this, let's say, present generation, or the leading generation, right? So not the children and not the grandparents, but the parents, or like I said, the current generation, the generation that has the most power, so to speak, or control, right? So let's say it's a restaurant and you have a new vision. You want to change the menu. You want to change the decor. You want to knock down the front wall of the business and put in like one of those garage door style windows where you can get, you can have like a patio outside, and your customers can dine al fresco, right? Outside dining, where before for 50, 60 years, there was never outdoor seating. Now you want to do that, or you want to change the menu. Whatever you want to do, you just have a new vision. Because as the current head of household, or the current leader of the pack, so to speak, you are able to discern, look at other restaurants, look at other businesses in your city, wherever you are, and you can see, okay, we have to get inventive. We have to get competitive. We just can't have, the checkered tablecloth, the candle inside a wine bottle. This isn't Lady and the Tramp. Like that period is over. We need to be modern. And previous generations, like, I don't like this idea. I don't want to change anything about the restaurant. The restaurant's been going good for 60 years just the way it is. Why do we need to do all of that? Look at all the money this is going to cost. So for some of you, Pentacles, obviously this is talking about money, investments. And because this is legacy, inheritance. So it's contentious. Even though it's not indicative in this card, I feel it. There's contention around the current head of household, the current generation that's in control, the parents, so to speak. They want something new, different, just totally not out of the box, but something no previous generation had thought to do. And the previous generation is like, no, you can't. We can't afford it. It's crazy. Don't risk it. Why? If it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? Okay, and in some cases, your partner or your spouse is saying this. Why do we have to do this? I love the way the restaurant is. Why do you want to upset the apple cart? Because the change is necessary, Capricorn. This is your position or your partner's. It can go either way since it's a general reading. It doesn't... you could be the generation, you could be the partner who's like, I don't want to change anything. I just want it to be that way. your partner could be the one with all these crazy new ideas, Capricorn. But regardless, one of you or the grandparents or generations before are like, no, 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 no. And someone is like, yes, 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 yes. And there's this power struggle. There's a struggle about money. There might be an issue of you want this new idea, but you can't afford it on your own. So you go to the previous generation, the grandparents or whoever, and you're like, look, I need an extra 10 grand so that the contractors can finish the job on the renovation. And the previous generation is like, I didn't like this idea from the start. You were the one who started this whole debacle. You didn't have your money correct. You didn't know how much it would cost. And it's like a whole argument, right? That you don't want to face, this is previous, right? So this is what causes the stalemate, a huge blow up over money. You want my money. Isn't it good enough that I am handing you the business? Now you want my money, the money that I worked for, that I saved for, that me and your mother saved for, blah, 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 blah. And it's a huge blow up. It's ridiculous. The tension, the battle that's going on within this family dynamic. Again, could be just family without a business. But where I'm feeling this right now is in a business model. So it doesn't even have to be family that you're related to. It doesn't even have to be your parents. It could be your great uncles. It could be extended family, whoever. But there's arguments about money. There's arguments about trying something new and changing for the future. And all of that is based off of this greater understanding on your part, or whoever is like the yes, yes, yes team, the change, change, change team, whoever's that person, they're here. Temperance and High Priestess. Temperance card is Sagittarius, so there might be a Sagittarius of significance in the situation, but it doesn't have to be. It's more important what the energy is talking about. So Temperance is the energy of balance, of stability, of control, of melding together the emotions, the mental, as well as the spirit. Like having all of those things align to go towards a greater, more prosperous future, or one that's more sustaining, more stable, or one that's more enlightened and happy. Take your pick, Capricorn, of how that falls into place for you, all right? But it's an energy that says there has been an issue previous to this, which was not so balanced, wasn't really serving me, wasn't really serving the situation or the people around me. Here's how we can make it better. And the High Priestess tag teams, that's why I put those two together, they're kind of, they're cohabitating in this one person or on this one side of the argument. They cohabitate, they work together, where the High Priestess knows the answer, but doesn't necessarily share the answer, or it's not a clear answer. The resolution, the solution is not always clear with the High Priestess. There is usually an element of of being unconventional, or being sort of like an unsuspecting, helpful element, or helpful solution, or helpful person, unsuspecting, you didn't know, you would never have thought of, but there's the answer, is what the High Priestess is. And again, that information is usually diluted, or it's very hazy. It's not always so clear-cut with the High Priestess. The knowledge or the answer of, there's a solution to this, there's an answer to this, is very sharp, it's very precise. But how you get there, how you access that information, or how you get access to that answer or the solution is not always easy. So again, the answer to the restaurant problem, staying competitive in the new market, drawing in new customers, all of that stuff, is renovation. Clear. That answer is simple. Renovation, or redoing the menu, getting in new cooks or new chefs, whatever. Oh, you can't get rid of our cook. They've been cooking for us for 40 years. Blah, blah, blah. Family this, loyalty, da-da-da. This is the argument of someone who's like on the other side, right? And you're like, yeah, cooking for 40 years, the same meals, the same menu for the last 40 years. That's not competitive. Clearly, we need to change. Now, how you change or how you get to that solution is unconventional. So if it is a renovation, all right, you've put up your money, you and your spouse or you and your business partner, whoever, you put up your end of the money, but the cost is a little bit more than what you were estimating or what you were hoping it to be. So how do you get the rest of the cash? So you're in control of this business. Maybe you've been running this business for the past 5 years or something, let's say, and you are actually the owner of the business. But because you don't have as much of a history with banking institutions, they're not really up to helping you, right? So you can't go to a bank to get the rest of the money. So your unconventional solution is to go back to your family, the previous generation, and say, look, I have great dreams for the restaurant. I have all this vision. I see it. We can make this thing a huge success. Do you have 20 grand for me? And they're like, say what? 20 grand? Are you crazy, Capricorn? And then boom, blow up. Huge argument, right? I never wanted you to change the restaurant in the first place. You never should have fired our chef. You're putting all this crazy stuff on the menu. Nobody eats that crap. Nobody eats asparagus. You know, it's like a whole thing. It's like a argument over money, but then so much more. An argument over changing the restaurant, but then so much more, because it's not just a place. It's not just a brick and mortar place. It's the family history. It's the legacy of the family that you're changing, Capricorn, or that whoever is changing. It's disrupting this legacy. What this person wants to do in the future changes the tone of the legacy, changes the face of the legacy, changes the way the legacy interacts with the community. Whatever it is. Huge destabilization to this long time stable structured sort of institution of a family or family dynamic. Okay, so that's the prologue. That's where this has led you to. This led you to this Berlin Wall situation where you're not talking to your grandfather or your great uncle, whoever. They're not talking to you. You guys have had this huge fight and you just can't get past it. You can't see the other person's point of view. You can't convince the other person to see it your way. Okay? Now, that's the prologue. And that's where you are now. This is where it's coming from. Right, the catalyst is what I said. So that's the prologue, and this is where it is. The catalyst for this, again, was somebody's new bright idea. Bright idea. Okay? So, Ace of Swords, bright idea. Somebody had a great idea, a great truth. I don't usually get inspiration from the Ace of Swords, but this is how I'm feeling it. It's like an inspiration of thought, or an inspirational, what do you call that? Like a light bulb moment, right? A light bulb went off in someone's head, and they were like, oh, I can do this. We can have that. Here we go. And this is how we're going to do it, right? So, grand ideas. Usually I get that more with the Ace of Wands, but right now for the Ace of Swords, I'm getting it. And I think it's come as the Ace of Swords because the way it was communicated may not have been so great. Swords, dealing with mental capacities, the way you think, the way you speak, the way you communicate, the way you deal with things logically, is usually pretty precise. It's usually pretty sharp. And when something is precise and sharp, it can be damaging. Right? Like an X-Acto knife or like a surgeon's scalpel. Sharp, precise. It's used for delicate work, cutting through the skin, tissues, muscles, all that good stuff. Or with X-Acto knives, you're making an art project, you're doing something that requires precise lines. But if you want to get into a street fight with someone, I mean, not like you're going to... But if you want to do damage to someone, I should say, not necessarily a street fight, but if you want to do damage, just like go at it crazy, the blades on those knives are so sharp, so sharp. You will cut and you won't even know that you cut. That's happened to me using an X-Acto knife. Like I was holding it one way and I moved and did something and I cut something else. I cut I think it was a pillow or something like that. I didn't mean to. But I had moved. I think I was like sitting, side story. I was like sitting on a couch, right? And I think I was cutting something like some paper, like a thick paper I was cutting. And I was like, oh, let me get this. And I had the knife in my hand and I turned, and then I turned back, and then whoop, there's a slit in the pillow. Had no idea. So that's what happened here. Someone had this great idea. Oh, let me go get this, or let me bring this into the conversation, or let me bring up this idea. And the fact that that even happened was cutting to someone else, or cutting in the situation, really damaging to the situation. And that's either you or someone else, Capricorn. I'm not really feeling that this is all exclusively Capricorn's energy. And what do I mean by that? The person who wants the change may not be you. It could be someone else. The person who's needing to go deeper into themselves, or or the person, excuse me, who is, it's too painful for them to address the situation, may not even be you, Capricorn. It might be the other person. Okay. So you'll have to choose which side of this you're on. But whoever had the bright idea, who had the light bulb moment, who had the change of heart or the change of mind, the clarity, whatever it is, they expressed it, and the way they expressed it, the time or the details in the message were just a little biting, a little damaging, okay? Knight of Swords above it would indicate that this person did it quickly. Knight of Swords also cards, or a court card in the Swords suit, so we're talking air signs. Gemini, Libra, or Aquarius might be of significance in this story, but not necessarily. The energy is more important. So the energy of this person, whoever had the bright idea and communicated it, swift, very quick, very, I've made up my mind, this is it, boom, done. Like from day to night, night to day, you know, just like, huh, what, when, where, how? Not much explanation in some cases, not much of a coddling or a handling sensitively. This might indicate a lack of sensitivity, a lack of tact, a lack of, give a care or sympathy towards the other person. So some of you, if it is you, Capricorn, or whoever it is, went to the older generation asking for the 25 grand, like very flippantly, like it was no big deal. Like, okay, so we're doing renovations, blah, 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 blah. But we came in a little over expected cost, so we're actually going to need another 25 grand. No explanation other than, oh, the estimation was wrong, and, excuse me, the estimation was a little bit more than we anticipated. I need $25,000. And that's it. Not like great uncle Matthew or whoever, things with the business. I still have this really big goal for the business. I see this, I see that. And, we talked about that. You know how it is when you like kind of want to butter somebody up before you ask them for a favor. Whoever communicated was not buttering up. No butter. Okay. Just went in there and was like, this is what I need. This is what I want. Give it to me. Or this is what I need. This is what I want. This is what I'm doing. Handle it. Deal with it. No kid gloves. And not to say like every situation needs kid gloves, but in this situation, it might have avoided this. Okay? So, Capricorn. Little tough energy for what's going on in August. Kind of contentious, I think the more compelling energy is where you are now, where it's like this stalemate. And things are not balanced, and there's no communication, and there's no harmony. And that can be, like I said, it's very painful for some of you. If this is like, a family, like an actual family, not like just a family dynamic or business partnership, but like an actual family, like you've had a blow up over maybe a medical situation, like maybe somebody needs to have a huge surgery, or they need to be under certain care, and there's an issue about insurance, and then who can pay more, or since insurance won't cover everything, and all of this, whatever it is, it's painful for someone. It's very painful. So the most compelling energy, I feel, is here. Okay? And this is your starting point. So for many of you, it is you who it's like super painful for. And maybe this argument doesn't even involve you, Capricorn. Like maybe you're the mother of the current generation, of the current head of household. Maybe you are part of the grandparent generation, where maybe it's your husband who's having a fight with your children, and you're just like standing by as like a witness to it, and you want there to be a bridge. You want that gap to be sewn up. You want things to be harmonious again, but you don't have much of a say. For some of you, that could be the case. Oh, super tough. Super tough. I'm not going to lie. This is super tough energy. Now, your outcome for August is the Devil reverse. So this is you, card of Capricorn, in your own reading. So, but it's in reverse, right? So, Devil card isn't super creepy. And I hope if you're watching this and you're a Capricorn, you know what your card is all about. You know what your energy in the tarot is all about. And your energy in the Zodiac is all about as well. It's about dominance. It can be about control. It can be about, just a crushing grip. It can be about that. Can also be about addictions and temptations and all of that stuff. But what I think it is right now, in reverse, right? You're just not yourself. And that sounds so cliched and so limited. But that's it. You're not yourself. You're not in your power. You're not in your seat. Wow. Okay, for some of you, you're not in your seat. What does that mean? For some of you, you're not in your seat of power. Again, you could be in that grandparent generation, the generation before the current generation, where your power has been usurped. Your power has been overturned. Your ability to control the situation or have influence in the situation is no longer at play. So you're not in your seat. Others of you, like, you're literally not in your physical seat, meaning there's a place in the home, at the dinner table, where maybe you sat at the head of the dinner table, now you don't. You used to be the one carving the turkey at Thanksgiving. You haven't carved a turkey since 2012, okay? Like, you just don't have the clout that you used to have. You don't have the influence, you don't have the pride of place that you used to have, Capricorn. So for some of you, that's a literal thing. And I'm feeling this is more aligned to like a masculine energy, not necessarily a man, but like a masculine energy in the sense of the leader of the family, the head of the household. You are no longer that. You could be a woman and have that energy. So don't get too gendered in this. It's more about the energy. You are no longer the leader. All right. Others of you, it's just about your self-assurance, your own self-worth, your own ability to identify who you are and what you are and how you play into this entire situation. You've lost your way. You've lost your vision. Not your literal vision, not like your physical vision, but you've lost your ability to see how you fit into the entire thing. If this was a play, you would know I'm the lead of the play, or I'm playing, the paramour in the play. You don't know who you are anymore. Maybe you're an understudy now, and you're like, I could be the lead, I could be the paramour, I could be the villain. It depends on what happens on stage, or it depends on if so-and-so makes it to the theater or not. So there's this uncertainty of your position. Uncertainty of your position now, and for some of you, uncertainty about your position in the future. Going forward, where am I going to be? Who am I going to be? How is it all going to work out? What's going to happen on the other side? Uncertainty, okay? Overall energy for August is the 5 of Cups. Oh, so vast disappointment. And this is not necessarily a card of vastness, but look at the landscape. Here's this person in the foreground, and you've got that building, perhaps a castle, and maybe a bridge in the background. So this, to me, right now, is giving me a sense of distance, a sense of vastness. There's a breadth to this situation. There's just a depth and a wide horizon in this situation is what I'm getting. So vast disappointment, vast sadness for many of you, depression, sorrow in some cases, because what we normally see, or what we normally talk about in the 5 of Cups, is this figure is really fixated on those 3 cups being spilled over and is really ignoring or neglecting the 2 cups that are upright behind this person, right? So there's this idea of silver linings, right? There's this idea of not all is lost, not all is over. There's still a chance. There's still something to be worked towards, or something to be nurtured, or something to be appreciated in this situation. So Maybe you're the mother, the grandmother, and you're seeing your husband fight with your child, and there's a huge disagreement. Silver lining is your child has a partner that stands by them, and there's a solidity, there's a great strong partnership, like where you feel you could, that's okay, thank you. So again, you're the mother. Don't have to be, you could be the father, it doesn't have to be, but you're a parent, and the other person, your spouse, is fighting with your child. Your natural instinct as a parent, mother or father, is to protect your child, even if it is from your spouse or their other parent, right? But you can't, because if you did, then your spouse would be upset at you. You know how these family dynamics go, right? You show defense of one person means that you're against the other person. And your position is like, I love you all. I don't want to fight at all, right? But the silver lining in this situation is knowing that your child has a partner that helps them, protects them, keeps them safe, is the shoulder that your child is crying on. It's not your shoulder. You wish it could be, but you don't want to, upset the apple cart too much. But at least your partner, or at least your child has a partner who is there for them, who helps them. That could be a silver lining. That could be the two cups that you're sort of neglecting to see. Is like your child isn't completely alone. Your child isn't fighting this fight by themselves. They're not, like there's someone on their side, if that makes sense. I hope that makes sense. But that's a very specific situation. In general, there is something, Capricorn, that you can look to and sort of feel like, okay, not like it was worth it, because it would be hard to argue that any of this was worth it, because it feels really heavy, it feels really distressing, it feels really tender and vulnerable and just painful, right? So it's hard to argue that, oh, well, with the Five of Cups, it was worth it. Not necessarily, but there is an element that there, in this card, or the overall energy is that on the other side, or sometime down the road, there will be something to appreciate. There will be something that comes out on the other end unscathed or preserved. Okay? So in the situation of a family dynamic, maybe there are children involved. I haven't really talked much about it, but that would be indicated in the Ten of Pentacles card, where you talk about legacy and generations and heritage and all of that. So there might be children involved. And maybe your spouse and you, as well as your children, you've done your best to let the kids not see this. Your grandchildren, their children, whatever. Maybe the children are fine. Maybe the children are happy. Maybe the children are adjusting well to, the Berlin Wall going up between, two sides of a family. So maybe the kids are all right. The kids are going to be okay. And that, again, doesn't mean all of this was worth it, but it is something to sort of latch a hope onto, latch a little bit of happiness onto, a little bit of positivity amongst all of this negativity, okay? Anything else? Anything else? Yeah, okay, so remember I said here, this is just a side note or like a little extra, and remember sort of moment, where here I said the block makes sense now, and there will be a time where, you got to turn that hermit energy upright and address the issue, address the person. Time-wise, my guides are not giving me anything as in soon. I'm not feeling this soon. It might change, but in this very moment, in the beginning of August, it's just not in the cards. Pardon the pun, it's not in the cards. I'm not seeing or feeling any type of, hat in hand apology from one side to another. I'm not feeling peaceful negotiations coming. I'm just not feeling there's a resolution anywhere near August, possibly not even September or October. This might be something that gets wrapped up, I'm feeling, in the winter, so November, December, January, and beyond. So if this resonated for you at all, as painful as it is, I just don't see it ending anytime soon. If it does, good, I'm happy for you. I would love to see you guys succeed and get over this. But if I'm honest, what I'm feeling energetically, what I'm being shown is just like, it's going to be a minute. sitting like this. It's been a minute already. You've been here for a while, and it's going to continue that way, okay? All right, Capricorn, this has been your reading for August. If it resonated, please let me know. I would love to read about it in the comments below. If you like what you saw, hit the like button and all that good stuff. Share, subscribe as well. And if you are interested in personal readings, that information is in the description box below as well. And I'll come back I'll come back to you in about a month or so, and when I deliver your September messages at that time, okay? Thank you guys so much for watching. Take care. Bye.